And money's hiding in those first-tier cities in real estate, right? So when the market gets volatile and they can't get their capital out, then they buy in the first-tier cities. So I think that's probably symbolic just of volatility and probably nowhere else to put their money right now.
Yeah. Did you see the property's gone amok in China? Did you see that Shenzhen was up like 60% in the last year or something like that? I mean,
well, it's a tech boom, right?
Huh?
So this is the Silicon Valley now of China.
It really is.
And there's huge speculation, but there's also a lot of people that are actually relocating there, right? And then there's obviously this proximity play to Hong Kong, which makes sense, I think, if you look at the demographics of China. But I'm not a property expert, so I wouldn't venture to say if those prices are the right prices.
The weird thing is that prices went up so high, they actually started looking in Hong Kong, across the border in Yuen Long, I have a territory, small town, new towns bordering the territory, because prices have come off like 15% or 20%.
Right.
So they're going, wow, Hong Kong, it's really cheap. Let's go to Hong Kong and buy instead and commute to Shenzhen, to our tech factory or something like that. I mean, now that's pretty weird.
Well, who would have thought ever that Hong Kong would look cheap in a real estate market? So.
Compared to China. But this tells me one thing, though. This tells me that there's the liquidity. It's not a question of liquidity in China. There's plenty of money. The fact that it's going into property, though, to me is a good thing. It means it's not going to the Cayman Islands and it's not going to San Francisco property for some reason. There's maybe the outflows have calmed down a little bit if we're seeing it, circulate within the property market for a change now.
Well, I think a lot of the capital flight argument is a little overblown, right? This is a bear case scenario that everything's trying to leave. The BIS did a study in the third quarter that suggested that's actually not the case at all, that most of the money that went out of China was to pay down U.S. dollar-denominated debt, right? So these are two opposite sides of the spectrum, but certainly I think that there's some more confidence, in China right now. I think that the government and post-MPC, there's a little bit of a breath of fresh air that the people in power are actually articulating their strategies a little more to the market. So there's less of this, we don't know what's going on, this fear of the unknown. And the market has a deep discounting mechanism to the unknown, right? If you say what it is, you may not like it, but the market at least can respond to it. So I think that's the maturation process that's going on. And people, I think, it's ticking up in the sentiment side.
What did you get out of the? Wow, here we are. It's only the end of the first quarter, and yet we've had massive meetings all over the place in China. The NPC, the Development Forum, the Boao Forum last year. What have you taken away from the first quarter in China? Have they managed to gain public confidence back? I mean, currency-wise, in terms of being able to fix the structure of the industry, industrial reform, credit reform. I mean, are there any main takeaways that are great? Any that particularly bother you?
Well, I think prior to the first quarter, you had basically the split from the dollar into a basket, so they weren't completely contingent currency-wise on just a dollar band or peg, however you want to refer to it. And that goes back to our Fed comments before. It's pretty hard to manage your own currency, let alone manage someone else's currency, and that's what you inherit in this peg situation. So I think that was a great precursor into the first quarter. You then get a lot of the provincial governors, standing state council and CSRC get out and talk about the market, which I think is a very positive sign in the sense that it's breaking down this information barrier. So like we just said, it doesn't necessarily matter what the information is. Obviously, we want it to be positive, but the fact that it's being articulated is a good step. And the development of this communication with the market